Well, I think the main challenge for them was to understand the new rules regarding to the situation. The ones who were here for a long time, they already adapted to the rules, to the access to the health centers, to the hospitals. But for the ones who are still struggling with the language, for example, or not aware of the new rules, as I know, they took a longer time, and some of them even went to the hospitals, and they shouldn't go to the hospital, they should call the family doctor. So it was that kind of misinformation from their part. Integration take a long time, and some of them were not yet integrated. So they had that kind of problems to access for the information. I think some of the refugees, as I know so far, they were not contacted by the organization that they are responsible about them, which means they were not updated about that rules and what they should do. Most of the information they got is from other refugees or from social media, which is not always correct or not always enough. So we have also this kind of old new problem, communication between the organizations and the refugees. And more or less, they face the same problem that Europeans also facing, because this crisis is not only for refugees, it's for everyone, refugees, migrants, or even Europeans. Well, if you remember, in the very first beginning of this crisis in Europe, especially in France, we saw a visit for the President of France to one of the hospitals in Marseille. And the team that he met there were most of them non-French, but with the migrants background. Africans, Asians, and from other places as well. And this shows that the migrants or refugees play a very important part in Europe after they got integrated, after they studied or worked. And it's not only about the health system. Even here in Portugal, I know many doctors that they are migrants here, some of them refugees. They were in the emergency department in the hospitals waiting for cases to come or going to bring cases. So they risk their life like other European doctors risking their life and nurses to serve the community. It's not only about health. Here in Lisbon, for example, we had a very nice example from a Syrian family that they are refugees. They have a restaurant project called Taiba, and they were offering meals for the health system, doctors, nurses in the hospitals. And this was very nice. You know, they just arrived to this country a few years ago. They are like starting this project, but they wanted to help. They felt that they are responsible. They have a part they should play during this crisis. And again, this shows that migrants and refugees are having a big contribution for this community. And yes, the crisis was bad, but at the same time, it shows us a lot of beautiful things. Solidarity, for example. I think maybe the media or TV or the newspapers didn't talk a lot about it, but I think yes, especially from the community itself. Here in Portugal, for example, when the information was shared about this family and what they were offering for the hospitals, every Portuguese people or person was thanking them and appreciating what they are doing. But again, the media doesn't show that a lot. They don't talk about that a lot. In France, for example, without the visit of the president to the hospital, they wouldn't talk, because he talked to them, he asked them, where are you from? And they answered. So without him asking them, where are you from, nobody will say those people are from migrants' background. And this is not fair, actually, because if one of the refugees or migrants did something wrong, we always have that stereotype that all the refugees or all the migrants are like that. But when we have a good example, nobody is talking about that example. So I think it was from the community, yes, but from the media, not. So the crisis brought us a very important message that people who are living in Europe, even Europeans, migrants or refugees, they share the same responsibility and they have the same duty to try to help that community, especially when we talk about the health system, the doctors, the nurses. In Germany, for example, we have hundreds and thousands of doctors, Syrians, Iraqians, Afghan, and they are already in hospital. They are serving the community and they are risking their life. because it's their duty. It's what they studied for years and what they think is the right thing to do. And I think it's a good chance for us to see the full picture of the migrants and refugees in Europe, not only focusing on one part of the picture and stereotype them with that part.